Hi students, how are you?
Hello everyone, how are you guys?
So this is Dr. Bala, the prime author of QRS Book. You know QRS Book is one of the hot cakes in FMGE preparation. And from this book, in 2019, December FMGE, there were about 160 questions appeared. And he is the sole and prime author of this book. And today we are going to do a very short webinar to give you an insight about what are the critical things you should do in the last 1 month for the revision purpose, and what type of confusions you will be getting during this time, and what is going to be the solution for this. So he's an expert. Yes, as you know, he's an author, he's an expert, and he passed with flying colors, and he did diploma in emergency medicine from UK, and he's working currently in Apollo and also in some other organizations, and he's here to just help students. And here onwards, he'll be taking this webinar.
Hello. So, hello everyone. First of all, I'd like to say that this is a good opportunity for me to clear some of the students' doubts, which constantly students have been asking me directly or indirectly through messages. So then I thought I should pile up certain questions and I should answer them so that it will be helpful for you, especially during the last minute of examination. So first thing first, medicine is a long time process and medicine is an evergreen process. So your study process will always continue. So from the start of your college till we die, it's going to continue. So where we have to study a lot is where we are getting exams. So during the exams, students are stressed to completely pile up all the subjects that we study, especially through the exit examinations. So in those due time, students will try to seek help from other students. Now, here is a place where students get confused more because there are two categories of students there where they get help from. So one is those who really pass with high scores, or the other is those who are struggling to pass, right?
Yeah, sure.
So if you get from those who passed, there are two ways of getting answers. One is they might tell you the right, they might guide you the right way, or they might just ignore and they just mind their own business. So in such cases, I thought everyone should know how exactly to follow a way to pass. And also those who are getting scores, like for example 160, 170, I want them to score something more than 200. So that is definitely essential. And that will be a boosting point for you when you prepare for your PG examinations. So PG examinations are getting tougher day by day. Similarly, FMG is getting tougher day by day. So when you prepare for FMG, I want you to prepare for PG as well. And secondly, I mostly target on students who are struggling score of 120, 130, 140. They are studying well, but still they are not able to go through the exam only because of the stress factors that they are facing. The stress increases when the last month of revision. So I want to focus on the last month of revision, especially the last week of revision. So that is very essential. So students should know something that always studying is not going to help you in your examination. They should know the tips and tricks to handle these examinations. So when it comes to FMG, what is necessary is you need space. You need enough space just before the examination. Studying till the last date is not going to help you. What happens here is when you study till the last date, you're going to meet a lot of students. A lot of students will carry a lot of different books. So they might say this book is better, this book is better. So at that point, students will get distracted. So what happens here? They lose their hope. What happens here? They lose their confidence in themselves. And then they start looking for other sources. So this chit chat is definitely going to affect them in their examinations.
So in educational psychology, this phenomenon, whatever he explained, is called as FOMO syndrome. Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah, so these people actually, most of the students, they think that once they are interacting with many other students might be saying that you see, I studied from XYZ, that book and this book. I studied from that teacher, I studied from this institute. And probably like you start thinking, oh my God, okay, these people have really better resources than what we have. And you start getting out developing anxiety that will be building up in a way to block your cognition. So once you start thinking that my friend is having better material than me, and if I don't acquire acquire all the material available in the market to study for this FMG, I won't be able to pass. This is exactly called as FOMO syndrome. And if you don't overcome this FOMO syndrome, it will be very difficult for you to handle this FMG. Because technically what happens with FOMO syndrome, you think about it, you get more anxiety, your brain works less. If your brain is working less, you get more anxiety, again, your brain is working less. This is going to become a kind of vicious cycle. The best thing what you have to do is, first of all, you should step out of this vicious cycle. You should understand, you should avoid FOMO syndrome. You should use one appropriate study material. It should not be 100 study material. It should be just one, but you should make sure this appropriate study material should contain whatever is necessary to crack this FMG.
I'd like to make a quote here. Bruce Lee used to say, I don't fear the one who practiced 10,000 different kicks. I fear the one who practiced one kick for 10,000 times. So this is very, very essential.
This is exactly the thing about revision. Keep it in mind, once you are studying and preparing for FMG or any sort of exams, in first part what you do is called comprehension, which means that you understand the concept, you grasp it in your brain, and you fit it in your brain. This is called comprehension. Even though you comprehend the concepts and subjects, the very key thing in the exam, you should be able to recall the facts, what is there in your brain, within the time frame given in order to choose the answers.
Yes.
Even though you understand everything, you studied everything, you are really a great student, but if you are unable to recall the facts stored in your brain within the time frame given, for sure you will flunk. So this is very important. That's what exactly he's saying, that if you keep practicing one type of kick or punch for 10,000 times, this is technically called as revision and rehearsal. Yeah. So it will be easy for you to recall whatever you studied. I want to emphasize one thing, that I studied one article. They were saying about FMG, more than 75% of the FMGs fail due to lack of strategic revision.
Due to use of multiple sources along with lack of strategy.
Yes, you don't know exactly when to revise, what to revise, and how to revise. This is the big problem.
One smallest example I can give is when I appeared for this examination. When I saw all the students, what I do is I ignore all of them. I just go and sit in one corner. I don't see anyone. When I get my chance of entering the examination, I go and sit in front of my computer. I just be quiet. I write my exam and I come.
Yes, of course. This is
I have seen three students. I know those students. I have seen three students. What they do at that moment, they see others' books, and then they start saying, "Okay, fine. This topic will come. That topic will come." They start getting diverted. All those three students fail. What happens here? Diversion. So focus is very important. You have to believe yourself. You have to get something source that is very necessary source. And you have to believe that source and yourself, and you have to focus, and you should not get diverted. That's very, very important. Right?
Yeah. One very important thing, once you are revising, don't try to bring new materials.
Yeah.
If you have some materials that are familiar to you, this will be the best resource for revision. Or it should be some kind of material which is similar to what you studied and which is very structured for revision. These two sources are helpful for revision. If you bring A to Z new materials, and if you start studying at the last moment, you won't have time, you will increase your anxiety, the efficiency will decrease. So you should keep it in mind. And one hack I want to tell also, once you are completing part 1 in your FMG exam, as soon as you come out for lunch, many students tend to discuss whatever mistakes you made. Please ignore these people. Do not discuss or think about what you did in paper 1 or like part 1. Because when you think about the silly mistakes you did in part 1, you tend to develop a lot of anxiety, which will block your performance in the second paper. And also, a group of students will be gathering in front of the center. They will start discussing about that teacher said this topic will come, that teacher said that topic will come, and you will start thinking, oh my God, I didn't read. The best thing to do in the exam is one thing, you start to work with what do you have effectively. Yes. Whatever you studied effectively, don't think what you didn't study. If you want to survive in a war, you should know that you should be able to utilize whatever is there in your hand. The same thing is applicable in this exam situation. You should be able to implement whatever is there in your brain. Don't think about whatever you don't have. This is one thing. Never discuss about part one in the break what they provide for lunch. Once you discuss, you will be having some kind of guilty feeling that you screwed up that question or this question, and you won't be able to answer the second part. So these are two important hacks. What I always tell my friends, what I always tell my juniors and my students.
So here I'd like to say some of the queries that I used to get from students. So I'd like to clarify them. So the first query is, sir, I'm an average student. So I'm not able to memorize things very quickly. I take time. So what happens is I bought this book. I bought some book, which is like 2 months before the examination. Will I be able to memorize all those concepts given in the book? So first you need to know something. There is something called visual memory. The visual memory is enormous in us. 67% of whatever we study is stored as visual memory. So this visual memory will be implemented well only when you see things again and again and again. For example, you're driving in a road, you're driving in a new road. You'll be seeing each and everywhere in a road and you drive, right? But if you drive again and again every day in the same road, after a few days, you don't even have to see the road. Just blindly you'll be driving. So you'll be thinking of some song, but you'll be driving. Why? Because of that visual memory. The visual memory is very important. So 67%, as I told, is visual memory. How can you implement it? You have to do repeated visual memory. So any book, any volume of the book, if you see them repeatedly, even if you don't read, if you see them repeatedly, those pages will be stored as visual memory. So that is the first psychological concept I want all the students to know. This is number one. Number two, students say that, sir, this book is 200 pages. When I compare it with another book, which is 800 pages, so probably we'll get more questions from 800 pages book. This is again wrong. So no matter how many pages you study, how you implement yourself in the exam is the very important point for passing the examination. So those who study, I have friends, those who study very minimal books, but repeatedly they study and they scored high. They scored higher actually. So repetition is very important than the number of pages given in the book. So that is very important. So last minute, if you stick for the past 1 month or for last 1 month or last 2 months, you should stick to one book. That is very, very important.
Yes.
Okay.
So talking about our QRS book, don't think that I'm boosting up because it is our book. This book is very finely crafted with essential material for final minute revision. So this is not going to have this blah blah part. If you read any textbook, you will be understanding to make students understand. They give some kind of introduction and it will look like something like blah blah before starting pathology. They are not going to explain you exactly to the core what is cell injury. They will tell you some kind of story around it. This is how they develop conventional textbook. The QRS book is not a conventional textbook. This textbook is technically a revision textbook. It is finely crafted with the material which is necessary for the last minute revision only. Which means, I already told you, last time 160 questions came out of this. Technically, these are the very important and high yield facts. We gathered them, we organized them, we categorized them in a very easily understandable manner. This is the QRS book. So if you are reading this book, you will understand it is having a flow from where to where you are going. It is having a way how to remember. We are also providing a very special chapter in QRS saying that how to study in last minute, how you are going to read, how you are going to remember, how to repeat, even with schedule we are providing. So no other textbooks or FMGE or PG coaching books are providing such kind of special hacks or techniques within their textbook, because they are not explaining about how to study. They provide the material, but here we are giving you hacks and tricks step to step. We are not just giving everything in a bulk. We are telling you how to read, we are telling you how to revise, we are telling you how to do the test, we are telling you how to manage the MCQs, we are telling you about how to revise exactly with a perfect plan for 1 month, day to day, step to step. This is the first chapter what you can find in our book. So this is very important. Here we are going to explain to all the students, not only my students or our students in DMA or students who bought these books, we want to explain what are the important facts about last minute revision. If you don't revise, what happens? And if you don't practice exams, what happens at last minute at the exam? And how can you improve in 1 month with a very special timetable what we provide? So let's go into this.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So a lot of books are in markets. So what happens is the bulk of the book is more. So when students start reading those books, students will have a general habit, almost all the students. What is that? So you see a topic which is, for example, 20 to 25 lines. They will try to highlight the important points and they will try to note them down in a separate notebook. So if you see those important points, it would be hardly out of those 20 points, it would be hardly 10 points or 8 points. So QRS is not intended in such a way.
Yes.
So I don't want to make a short note out of this. Every single line is an MCQ. Every single line, every single word is important for your examination. Every single word. So this book, you can say this. These topics are high yield, these topics are low yield, moderate yield, everything it contains. But it does not contain any unnecessary information. That is point number one. Because I don't want to waste any single minute of those students, especially in their last month. So that is the prime focus. So when we write these books, so we have to think students in mind. That is very important when it comes to me. So where students lag is the time. So when you see a bulk book, they think that we can skip few points and we can shorten the points and they can quickly revise in examination. But when it comes to this book, each and every point is important. I want you to focus each and every point. That is very essential. So comprehending is very essential. You have to know the concepts. That is very essential. That's why we are doing this program. So comprehension is very essential. Reading them, revising them, and focusing on key points is very essential. As this book contains the entire key points that is necessary for the examination. It is easy to cross 200 plus score. Definitely when you need this single source.
We have many toppers from DMA who scored 200 plus. All of them use this. Probably you can find all the testimonials in our YouTube channel. Let me get into the point straight. Let's start about 1 month preparation. So I hope most of you know that about 75% or more than 75% of FMGE aspirants who fail is due to the lack of strategic revision. I already told you. So many students ask us, how many times should we repeat or revise? If you ask me from scientific point of view, if you can revise 5 times, that is going to be optimal. And in previous webinars, we explained about the education psychology and neuroscience of memory and forgetting. If you remember, I explained about the forgetting curve of Ebbinghaus. So once you study, you start to forget. If you don't repeat, then you should understand only very little bit will be retaining in your brain. So once you're studying 10 things, by end of 1 month, probably you will be remembering only one thing. If you have a strategic revision with spaced learning, we call it as spaced learning or spaced repetition. If you can repeat minimum for 3 times, it is going to be great. But if you can repeat for 5 times, it is going to be best because you can remember 90%.
I would like to say one more educational psychology. For permanent memory storage in educational psychology, there is something called 2, 3, and 5 technique, which means when you study some topic today, you have to revise it on the second day, you have to revise it on the third day, and you have to give a gap. The fourth day, when you give a gap, the brain will try to reduce the points that you revised. And on 5th day, when you see them back, it will be permanently stored as memory. This is very, very important. So repeating 3 times, that is very essential, as he said. This is bare minimum. So more than that, you can go for 5 times when you have time, but bare minimum, you need to go through 3 times. 2, 3, 5 technique. Remember this, they should definitely.
So there are various techniques. This is one of the techniques. We actually provide some articles you can find in our website where we will be showing you various techniques from various psychologists. It depends. Some technique might fit for you, some techniques might not fit for you. But we will be giving you the general and effective techniques today.
Which would fit anyone.
Which would fit anyone or most of the people. So let's go into more details. So you should understand there are 3 skills or factors need to be groomed during this revision. Not just revision, through the preparation too, but this is the gross factors, or these are the gross skills necessary to be groomed during this revision period. The first part is called comprehension of concepts. So usually comprehension of concepts starts far early than the last month. But don't think that, I didn't study anything. No, I'm like running out of time. There is no hope. It's nothing like that. If
It's
you
one
have,
of the psychological fear that students get.
Yes.
See, when they complete those all those 6 years of studies, and suddenly when they have to pass by writing all those 19 subjects in examination, of course, the forgetting part is very important.
Yes.
So just people think that I forgot all my concepts. No, that's not actually happening.
Yes.
So whatever you read, it's going to be deep there in your memory. So you have to dig that, and
Yes.
you need to bring that in exam.
You
What
should
can
try.
help it?
You should practice some kind of behaviors or some kind of activities, or you should develop some kind of skills to dig up what is there in your brain. Because things are there.
Yeah, this is exactly where students are not
Yes.
getting how to do it.
So we are helping you out with this. So the comprehension of the concept starts really early. But if you think that you didn't complete some topic, it is possible to do within last 1 month with a very specific timetable, because you are not going to sit and comprehend everything till last minute. We will give you like a special timetable. In first part, you are going to do the comprehension, and in other part, you are going to do some kind of recall and exam activity. So let's go to the next point. This is called recall. We have been talking about this recall ability for past 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So even though you study, things are there in your brain. If you can't bring these facts to choose an answer within the time frame given, you won't be able to pass.
One point I need to say about recalling ability, not based on studies, based on practical day experience. Let's say you're passing by a road, you're seeing different fruits. You're just a bystander, you're seeing different fruits. So after, for example, you saw 10 fruits, and I suddenly ask you what fruits you saw on the road. You would hardly try to recall and say 2 or 3 fruits. But if we gather one fruit from each of them, and if we assemble in front of you, when you see that fruit, suddenly you will get a picture of the entire fruits that you saw in those at least 7 or 8 types of fruits that you saw in that road. So this is recalling ability. So at first also you tried to recall, but you didn't get it. But now you got it. How? Because there is a technique that is given in front of you, which will try to boost you to recall. So that technique, we want to give you that technique so that you can recall better, much better than what you have tried.
We will give you the technique how to read, how to revise. Yes, we are going to give you the specific time schedule. That is called spaced learning. I want to tell one more thing what I have seen in neuroscience. There was a research conducted. There were 2 groups of people, and these people were with the same age and they were studying in the same university. They divided these people, and for first group of people, they gave a number of objects. Only the names were given. Only the names. And to the second group of people, the same set of objects were given. With name, they gave the use of this material. For example, they are saying, let's say, mobile phone. And they said that what is the use of mobile phone? This is the means of communication. So here they brought the concept.
Yeah.
So now once again I'm seeing there were 10 students this side, there were 10 students that side. They were from the same university, same background, same age. So we are decreasing the biases. And after that, to the first group of people, they gave the list of material, but only the names were given. Number 1 is mobile phone, number 2 is laptop, number 3 is fruit. Like that, they gave only the names. But to the second group of people, they gave the name with the appropriate function of this list of materials. So they understood and they comprehended this is about concept. And after letting them read it, and after 24 hours, they asked a question to these people, or they asked questions, how many of those things, what you saw yesterday in the list, you can recall? And they understood that people who actually read the list of things with the concept, for example, mobile phone is used for communication. This group of people started recalling more number of the things from the list than just merely the list of things.
That's because of the feedback.
So
effect.
this is
because when you know the use,
yes,
you would automatically remember the object.
Yes. So if you try to know the fact by understanding the concept, which means comprehension, if you understand the concept first, put it in your brain, and it will be very easy for you to recall. That's why the first necessary skill to pass or crack FMGE is comprehension.
But I strongly believe both of them go in hands on.
Yes, sure.
If you don't comprehend, you cannot recall.
Yes.
If you don't recall, you cannot comprehend.
Is it clear? So second thing is recalling ability. And the last very essential skill is handling the exam or exam taking skill. how to approach MCQ, how much time you are going to give, how to handle your anxiety during the exam, and how to handle the software what they are giving in this FMGE. So I already ran a webinar and I explained in detail how to handle the exam software, how to handle the MCQ, what are the type of MCQs, what is the time management, all I explained to you. But in this 1 month time, in this 1 month revision period, we are going to give you time for you to read and to practice this test. Because if you don't keep practicing, it will be difficult for you to handle the MCQs or test at last minute. It is exactly like what he said, or what I said to you previously in the webinar. Once you start riding the motorbike, it is very difficult for you to hold the accelerator, release the clutch, yes, but once you keep riding the motorbike, within 1 year, within 3 months, it becomes fluid.
Without even
thinking what exactly you are doing. It is the same thing, because this is about the working memory. This is about the memory which is connected to the techniques what you are using, the activities what you are doing. So first it will be some kind of learned reflex, but once you keep using this reflex again and again, it will become very fluid, like an ingrained reflex, like riding a car, motorbike, or driving a car.
In my personal opinion, if you ask, out of these three, I would give more preference to this exam technique.
Yes.
The reason is students would, there are different categories of students. Everyone will have their own time in reading. Their speed, they have their own speed. That's why certain people, even if they read for the entire last month, they can crack exam. But that percentage is very, very minimal.
Yes, it's less than 5%.
What happens here is, less than 5%. What happens here is the brain would get fatigued for almost 95% of students. So what is needed is effective reading, but that should be followed by rest. If there is no rest to the brain, you would be overloaded with information. When you see those questionnaires, that would be another source of information than you comprehend or recall or do anything in the examination. So this exam taking skill and exam time management is very important, and this is where I would like to focus more on.
I will share the link in YouTube. We already discussed about exam taking skill and time management during the exam in detail. You can watch them, you can read in our website too. It's very essential.
Nobody tells the students actually that how to read. That is very essential.
We already explained this part.
Yeah.
Okay. So this 1 month revision program is divided into 4 sessions, and I can just show you here in which session we are fostering which skill. So in session 1, this is like 9 days program or 10 days program, you can see. Here we are fostering comprehension the most. So we are making you to understand and put this fact in your brain and understand the concept. So the number 1 skill to be fostered in session 1 during first 10 days will be comprehension. Of course, you will be practicing the recall ability and exam skills too, but they are secondary. Number 1 is comprehension.
Yeah, we will repeat, of course. Whatever points has to be repeated, we'll be repeating in those lectures, but understanding is essential.
Yes. And session 2 and 3, in these 2 sessions, we are fostering mainly recalling ability plus exam management skills or exam taking skills. This is not comprehension part. And last, this is called session 4, we call it pre-exam cramming. After you study for these 20 days and you take the appropriate breaks as I explained, 1 day before exam, we want you to read the most essential part. This is called pre-exam cramming. But if you skip session 1, 2 and 3 and ask me, can I do only session 4 and pass this? It is not possible. It is possible only for 5% of students with enormous type of memory. You know, about 5% of the students or 5% of the people in the population, they have really good memory. They have photogenic memory. They can just watch, get it into the brain. They don't need any help. Probably I have 1 or 2 students like this. They don't study. They come in the last minute, they read and they pass and go. But don't try this, because everyone is not gifted like that. It does not work like that. Because you should think about, you remember about the normal distribution curve, bell type curve. These guys, these extreme guys who are like highly intelligent, they are going to come into this tail, last part. Yes, the most dumbest guys are going to come in the other part, but most of us are standing in the center of this curve. So keep it in mind. we can think this way. We are not really that gifted. So we should improve the skills to push our ability to crack this exam.
I personally think everyone can score more than
Of
200.
course.
All they need is a right way of studying.
This is right guidance and techniques. The issue that most of the institutes or books or teachers, they don't explain how to read or how to revise or how to manage the time or how to manage the software. They will be teaching. They're great teachers. We are not saying no for them. But the very important part, even though we provide the material, we provide the information.
Knowing about
individual students, if you don't know how to implement it, you are going to fail. This is what we are doing now.
Definitely, yeah. There are various categories, as I told, of students. So something, materials and some way of studying should be made for each and every different types of students that should suit anyone to score high. The toppers are toppers, yeah. Why can't those who are on average go to the toppers list? We can do it. We'll make a way.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. So the material to be used for this 1 month revision, the effective revision, is 3rd edition of QRS book and Pavement web app. So this is the latest app and the latest book. I just want to inform one thing to you. It's not necessary that you have to use this material and this app. Why? Let's say you don't have such a material or you don't have this app. But if you have another one app which is proficient enough to provide all the tests necessary for practicing the examination skills and to give you feedback and to give you counseling and to push you to crack this FMGE, you can go for this app. I'm not pushing you to buy my app. This is not the business proposal. So I'm just telling you, we plan this material, we plan this study plan based on the 3rd edition of QRS and the Pavement. But if you have a good study material for last minute revision, as good as QRS, as structured as QRS, you can go for it. I'm not pushing you to
Our prime aim is not, we can say, like most of the foreign medical students, they should raise their standards and they should outskill.
Yes.
I hope that is essential.
Okay, let me go into now sessions. So if you want to get this study plan or revision plan, you can visit our website. You can find all the things what we are discussing over here in a written format. We are not hiding it. We are not keeping it only for our students. It is open. It's free of cost.
So
you can visit. Anyone. Yeah, it's for anyone. You visit my website. After completing this webinar, I'm going to copy and paste this website below in the YouTube. So you should remember, you can click and you can go and read whatever you want. You can follow the study plan. You don't need to buy the book. You don't need to buy the app. But if you have any other proficient material, which is equivalent to our material, you can use.
They can utilize the study plan.
Yes, of course. You can just utilize the study plan. But when you think that you don't have a proficient study material like QRS, when you don't have the app, of course, we are there to help you. We are providing you this material and app for very economic and cheap price. You should understand this. Okay, let us go. So session 1. In session 1, we are providing you time and space for comprehension, number 1. This is the foremost. So as I told you, we base this program in QRS. So we are also providing a very special class called QRS based revision. So in this, I'm going to tell you what we are doing in the class, but I already told it doesn't mean that you have to join the class. It doesn't mean that you have to buy the app or the study material. If you have a proficient material equivalent to our material, then you can follow. But I'll tell you generally for everyone, you can use this study material
we made this plan so that anyone can get better.
Yes. Anyone can use this, anyone can utilize
so this. So structures of subjects that gathered, if it's studied in this format, it will definitely help you score high.
I already told you, most of the students don't know the tricks and hacks. We are going to give you the tricks and hacks. If you want to use our material, you can use. Otherwise, you can use with yours. So let me go into technicalities now. So we are dividing the complete 1 month session into 4 sessions. For 1 month period into 4 sessions. The session 1 is about comprehension. This will come for 9 days. So what is going to be there on the first day? We are asking you to read anatomy, biochemistry, and physiology.
The reason it's put on the first day, it's because it is important, it is basics, it forms the frame. For example, physiology. Physiology forms the frame, foundation for pathology. For medicine, it could stand on anything. For pediatrics, so knowing the foundation, knowing the base is important. Anatomy stands for surgery. General surgery, you need to know the anatomy to go through the surgery. That's very
Orthopedics
essential.
and surgery.
Orthopedics,
Completely
you could say.
different.
Radiology,
Yes.
it's completely different. So biochemistry is again essential. When you read pathology, it should go time to time. Those are important. Lab values, case, medicine, lab values, those are essential.
Pediatrics.
So you need to know the basics first. Out of those basics, these three subjects are most essential and should always be on your day one. That's
Yes.
essential.
So talking about how a medical house or a medical curriculum is built, it's built from the basement. The basement is always BAP or ABP you can call. What is ABP? Anatomy, biochemistry and physiology. So once you are starting to develop concepts to study, even for 6 months or 1 month, it's better to start from the basics. So what are the basics? The basement, or we call it the foundation of building a house. So we are building a medical house. So what will be the foundation? BAP or ABP. So how we are dividing this day? The first day will be divided into initially revision. So the revision is going to go for about half day, and the remaining part is going to be testing. So you have to do the test for each subject. There can be various tests. I will tell you 3 types of tests we are providing. Number 1, test from the past papers. You know that 10% or up to 20% of the questions in each exam will be repeating either from FMGE or from any NBE papers. So it's very essential to do the past papers. So you should do test on this appropriate subject from past paper, number 1. Number 2, you should also practice test or the questions from the latest trend. You know that the trend is changing. The trend keeps changing. So you should do the second set of tests. This test will be based on latest trend. And the last very important part is image-based questions or case-based questions. These are called as concept-based questions. So once again, you are going to practice test in past paper, in anatomy, biochemistry, physiology. You are going to practice test in latest pattern question. You are going to practice test also in cases and image-based. This is very essential. So if you see the plan, what I am giving you is, first you read, you comprehend, and how to do this technique I'll tell you. So per day, what you have to do. So this is the plan I'm giving you. This is called 3R format. We call it 3R format. So what is the first R is reading. So you read first, and the second R is called recalling, or like you are revisiting the material. So here what you do, you start to recall the material by closing whatever you read. So let's say you read upper extremity in anatomy. First you read, comprehend the material. If you are a visual learner, but we always advise all the students, use the markers. 3 color coding is best. So what are these 3 color coding? Green marker will be used for high yield points, but they are very easy to recall. So in our QRS book, whatever is marked in bold are very high yield. So you are going to mark something, this fact you already know. You can recall it very easy. So what you do, you mark it in green color, which means your brain knows that, okay, green means it is high yield and it is easy to recall. Second one, you are going to use yellow color marker. Yellow color marker means this is high yield, but it is confusing for you. Yes? NADP or NADPH, something like that, some confusing factor for you.
Very important. Yes. Very important.
Yes. Because usually they get this in biochemistry, they will confuse you. They tend to confuse. So you mark this in yellow color. When you see yellow color in this book or in your material, it doesn't need to be QRS. It can be your material. Once you see yellow color, it will pop up in your brain. This thing is high yield, but confusing for me. The last part is orange color. Orange color means high yield, but I tend to forget this. I will never remember this. They are giving you new facts about, let's say, coronavirus. You have never heard this. They might ask this question. Mark this in orange color, which means it will just bring an alarm. It will just click an alarm to you. Okay, orange means high yield, but I don't remember this. So you will focus this. Such color coding effect is called in psychology as von Richthof effect. Which means if something is different in what you are doing, or whatever you study, if you are marking and you are making it different, it will stay better in your brain.
This is exactly what toppers do.
Yes.
Because when at the last moment, they exactly know what not to focus on, because they already know those points. So that's what not what other students don't do. They read everything, even though they know those concepts. They again and again they read them.
So,
Yes, revising is important, but knowing what to skip at last moment because it's already in your memory is more than
and
important.
color coding, of course, you already know. You see, I already told you, high yield, easy to remember. You don't need to waste time here because you can just bring it back. So, very important thing. This is called 3R technique. If you want me to tell the guy who devised this, this was Finement technique, but it is the modified Finement technique, whatever I am explaining. 3R. First is reading. While you are reading, you are going to use 3 color coding. This is called von Ristor's effect. After reading and comprehending, you are going to do second R. This is called recalling or reciting, which means you close your eye or you close the book, whatever you studied in this page, you are going to recall and you are trying to shout it. This is called recitation. Don't bark, don't shout loud. You try to you try to recall and you try to read by closing the book.
Even in the mind,
You read in the mind. You recall it. It's called recitation. You tell the words. And after completing this, after trying to recall, you open the book and see whatever you missed. Is it clear? So probably you missed 30%. Now you understand, okay, I have to remember this, but once I closed my eyes, once I was reciting, I was unable to recall it. Then you study it once again.
You know what students will get in this when they think, yeah, they are studying only the yellow coloration, whatever points, but their eyes are seeing the entire page. Again, those which are in green in color will automatically
get it your eyes,
because of the photogenic memory. It will automatically get it. Your photogenic memory might be, for example, 30%. It does not matter. The more time you see the page, those words will automatically be stored in your memory. Sure. That's very important.
So once again, 3R I explained to you. I explained about 2 R's. Before going to 3rd R, I want you to go for the tests. Why tests? In educational psychology, there is another one phenomenon, we call it illusion of competency. Normally, your brain is wired to be lazy. So once you read, your brain will think and trick you that you already read everything, you already understood everything. Whenever you want, it will come. It happened to you probably once you were studying. It happened to you in your medical school, yes? Where you already read the anatomy, upper extremity, you think, oh, yes, I did everything. Tomorrow in the exam, I'll score 100. But when students come to us, we ask Viva, nobody answers. This is called illusion of competency. How to understand you have gaps? Because now your brain is tricking you to think that whatever you read in anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, everything is fixed in your brain.
We might give you a test, but actually you are testing yourself. That is very important.
So
evaluating themselves, I think it's a very important point. Before even trying to review, evaluating themselves is very important.
So there will be gaps in your knowledge. This is called knowledge gaps. How to find the knowledge gaps effectively doing the test. That's why I'm asking you to read, recite. Before going to the last R, I want you to do the test. Once you do the test, you will understand you are deficient in this chapter, you are good in this chapter. Wherever you are deficient, you have to focus in the last R. So this is very technical and very structural and strategic. So revised Finement technique, 3R. First is reading, 3 color coding. After that, recitation. So this is the technique of recalling. You close your eye and you recall. Yes. Before going to the last R, you are going to go for testing yourself. These are mini tests. This is going to show you your knowledge gap. This is going to explain you about the phenomenon of illusion of competency. So you understand you are good at upper extremity, you are bad at lower extremity, you are bad at neuroscience. So you have to focus in these bad areas in the last R. What is the last R? The last R is called, you can just call it revision or you can call it review. Some people call it review, some people call it revision. So whatever you studied, you already recited, which means that was the first kind of revision. Now you understand whatever you studied, you don't understand, you don't comprehend, or you didn't store it in your brain, some parts. After doing the test, you will be understanding this part. So once you go to the last part, this is called review part. Now you should focus more into the deficient chapters and topics than the good ones.
The reason we name quick review series, we give more importance for review. For doing the review, you have to understand yourself. You have to evaluate yourself. That's very, very essential.
Okay, guys, once again, a summary because we are going to do fast now, not to waste your time more. There's going to be a very special technique of revision. This is called 3R. This is called modified Finement technique. Read with 3-color coding, recall with recitation, and you understand what you are missing, and again you read this one. Before going to the last R, you are going to do the mini test and understand where you are deficient at, where you are good at. Where you are deficient at, you should be replenished in the next R. So if you are bad at neuroanatomy, in the last hour, you are going to focus more into neuroanatomy. If you are really great in upper extremity, you don't need to waste more time in that. So it will give you an idea about knowledge gaps. You know X, you don't know Y. If you know X, you don't need to waste time in X. You will waste time in Y. Why? Because that is the most important part. What you are forgetting, you are not understanding. So 3R, in between the third R, you are going to do the test. The last part is, we call it as review. You are going to review whatever you studied, but focus into the deficient parts. So first day, anatomy, biochemistry, physiology. First part of the day, you are going to read, as I said. Then you are going to do the test, and the last part of the day, you are going to do the review. And second day, what you are going to do? You are going to do pathology, pharmacology, and microbiology again. Okay. So here we are giving only pathology and pharmacology. So two things you should understand. Pharmacology will depend, or the comprehension of the pharmacology will be depending on the knowledge in biochemistry and physiology. If you don't know what is autonomic system, if you don't comprehend the autonomic system and the receptors, it will be hell for you to understand autonomic pharmacology.
Example,
so this, yes, of course, beta blockers or alpha blockers or whatever, you should know the basics. That's why we are going from the basics. So we are building a house. First we put the basement or foundation. Now we are building the walls. What will be forming the wall? It will be pathology, pharmacology, it will be microbiology, and PSM2. So here we are going step by step. So in the second day, you are going to do pathology and pharmacology. Technique is same. 3R, first 2R, test, third R. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Here I am putting the related subjects again, microbiology and PSM. Keep it in mind, PSM. PSM is the very high yield topic. If you don't study PSM, you don't pass. 30 plus question will be coming from PSM.
That to direct question.
Of course, direct question. And you should know, once you go and study in foreign countries they teach this PSM or public medicine or public science, public health, social medicine, all are same only.
For more than 2 years.
More than 2 years they will be teaching, but they teach you only the general principles applicable to world. They will teach you epidemiology basics, biostatics basics, and they might teach you PSM connected to their country. If you study in Philippines, mostly about Philippines. If you study in China, mostly about China. Or they teach generally. But once you go to any other country to practice, if you go to England or if you go to USA, if you come to India, you should know their own PS, which is implemented in that appropriate country. Once you want to pass USMLE, they teach you ethics connected to USA. They teach you, yes, PSM, and they teach you behavioral science, which is very essential for USMLE. We don't have all these. But if you want to practice in India, you should know PSM of India. If you don't know PSM of India, you don't pass. 30 plus questions straight. What is related subject to this PSM is microbiology.
One example is coronavirus.
Yes, coronavirus.
That's what we are facing. Now it's a community problem and it's also a microbiological problem.
Is it clear? So once they ask a question connected to one individual, it can be internal medicine, it can be pediatrics, it can be any other clinical discipline. But once they are going to implement this principle into a group of people with this medicine, with this disease, we call it public health. This is the issue of community. This is where we implement the knowledge of PSM. So keep it in mind, microbiology is very interrelated to PSM. So we are putting this together.
And one more thing, I should say that now it's a pandemic time. So PSM is very essential. Exam would focus more on PSM. You could, even if they cross 40 plus questions in this year, there's no doubt in it.
Guys, I just want to remind you one thing. After 1 or 2 weeks, Dr. Bala and me will be putting another one webinar where we are going to discuss about the high yield topics per subjects. We will be telling you about the high yield topics. But keep it in mind, don't miss coronavirus. Yes, don't miss plague. Don't miss also hantavirus because these are the new flare-ups in China and Mongolia, in Mongolia. Yes?
Along with that, the local diseases are should.
Yes, of course.
Typical
Dengue and all you
environment.
cannot miss. They
Dengue,
always are this.
chickenpox,
Yeah, chickenpox.
yeah.
Okay, let's go to the fourth day. In fourth day, we are putting another related subject. This is going to be internal medicine and pediatrics. What is the technique? Same technique. R, reading, 3 color coding. Second R, you're going to recite. Third R is last. Before that, you're going to do the test. Last one is review. Next one, you're going to related subject. Yes, you're going to read surgery, orthopedics, and anesthesia. This is the
This
fifth day.
is one of the beautiful combinations, we should say. Surgery, definitely a lot of questions you'll be getting. Orthopedics,
35 plus questions surgery, especially basic surgery. They are not going to ask you some super special question. Basic surgery, about burns, about infusions, about shock in surgery.
And ortho is definitely, once you read very well, it's easy
Easiest one
making
because
questions. And anesthesia, yes. Going along with orthopedics and anesthesia, definitely a high scoring subject. I'm expecting at least 50 questions from this. 50
all
to
these
60.
all these three you
All
can
these
expect.
50 to 60.
Yes.
That's
So
all.
keep it in mind. The plan what we are providing here. If you don't have time to watch our webinar, please go and visit the website. The combination of the subject we are providing, they are interrelated, which means you can correlate and study, and it will be easy to comprehend. It is easy to keep it in your brain. If I'm putting, for example, orthopedics with internal medicine, they are unrelated subjects. It's very difficult for you to comprehend and interrelate. That's why we are giving interrelated subjects. Let's go to next day. We are going to the sixth day. Sixth day, OBG, ENT, and ophthalmology. So mostly these are like surgical subjects, but there's no other best combination compared to this, what I have in this given time frame. So OBG, guys, don't leave it. 30 plus question. You leave OBG.
Leave OBG, yeah.
It's not possible.
Not possible, yeah.
PSM, OBG, surgery, internal medicine. If you don't know, you will never pass. Okay. There are 10 high yield subjects in FMGE from where 240 questions are coming. Out of that, these 4 I said are giving 50% of this 240.
The time I wrote my exam, surgery and OBG, 90 questions from these 2 topics.
So you can understand.
You should know the importance of these 4 topics. Very, very essential. So we had to frame ENT and ophthalmology with it because the others are not much better.
Okay. Let me say about these 10 high yield important subjects at last. You cannot miss these 10 subjects. Okay, let's go to 7th day. 7th day, what we are providing is short subjects, except for anesthesia. I just want to emphasize one thing. These 4 short subjects are low yield subjects. So which means, for example, in forensic medicine, you might get hardly 3 questions. Skin or dermatology, you might get 3 to 5 questions. In radiology, you might get 3 to 5. Same story. They are roughly, I'm saying. This is low yield. So we are like segregating all these 4 subjects in one day. 7. Technique is 3R plus tests. Okay. We are giving 2 days, especially for revising some very important things. You should know that after 2012, what happened? They started increasing the questions connected to comprehension. So keep it in mind. There is a classification of questions in FMG. One is called fact-based question. Second is called concept-based question. So if you think about after 2012, they started increasing this concept-based question. So in concept-based question, they were also including image-based questions. According to classification of 2015, they are giving 3 types of questions. So what are these 3 types of questions? First is fact-based, second is concept-based, third is image-based. Before they used to put image-based with concept-based. So it's very simple. One set of questions they will ask, the answer will depend on whatever you studied the fact. If you know the fact, if you can recall the fact, straight one-liner. Yeah. Or you call it one-liner. Yeah. And remaining, you have concept-based question. They will give you a case. They will give you a statement. They might give you an image. They can ask image-based, concept-based question. That is like indirect question. Or they can just give you an image and ask you, okay, what is this? I already explained you different type of MCQs. So talking about this part, what happened after 2015? the number of concept-based questions increased. Especially in 2019 December, case-based questions were too many, especially in paper 2. Bundle of questions came from obs and gynecology. All of them are case-based. So you should understand, you should start focusing into the trend change. We analyze the trend change and we are giving you a hack right now. Yes, you should know that the questions connected to concept or cases, they are increasing. So you should be able to clear all the cases. We call them as anticipated cases. So in QRS, we are giving a very special section. We are providing all the cases that might be expected in FMGE.
Not directly, but at least the points from them.
The points from there.
This is updated 2020 update.
2020 update.
As per the latest trend we are providing.
Yes. But if you already have any other study material providing special cases that might be expected in FMGE, no need to buy this book. So once again, I'm giving you 8th day completely for cases. Why? I already told you. After 2012, we had 2 types of MCQs. We used to call them fact-based or one-liners and concept-based simply because they were including the images also there. And they properly classified all these questions into 3 sets after 2015. FMG used to have, yes, fact-based or one-liners. They used to be more than 70%, but now what happened? The fact-based or one-liners are lesser than 60%. So what about remaining 30%? So sorry, 40%. 30% will be concept-based question, which means they can give you case, they can give you statement. They can also give you compare and contrast. They can give you lab data and they can ask, patient came to the hospital with XYZ lab data. Now they are giving a new data. Now they are asking he's in which phase? He's recovering or he's like in which phase? For example, they can ask about hepatitis B. They can ask about myocardial infarction. Is it a reinfarct or no? This is concept based.
The latest COVID, IgG, IgG is positive. Is he having active infection or not?
Or already is like having convalescence. So you should know this is like about concept. The last is image based question. So you should improve your style of learning to cope up with increasing in the number of these case based or concept based or image based question. Why? Because the one-liners are decreasing. They are about 60%. 30% will be what? Concept based. And out of this concept based, most of them are case based. So we are advising you to go for some kind of material where you get most expected and anticipated cases. Don't just read the case and diagnosis. Try to understand what other questions they can ask. These are called pin notes. In QRS, he provided all the pin notes. If he's giving one case of a TOF, he will give you all the points that might be asked in the question. It doesn't need to be the diagnosis. They can ask drug of choice. They can ask contraindication of the drug. They can ask diagnosis of choice or complication.
They can ask the differential diagnosis.
Yes, of course.
Comparisons.
So these are called pin notes.
Also, you should know that I have included images in this cases also. Because those way of studying along with the images is also essential.
Yeah,
all the
it will be
types
effective.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next one. So the last 9 days, whatever you studied in previous 8 days, all the high yield points, you know that. If you have your own study material, you use the 3 color coding. In QRS, we have a very special topic or chapter called QRS nuggets. We already gave everything subject wise. We divided the most high yield points into one chapter, and this is called QRS nuggets. We want you to read this in the last minute. If you don't have QRS, what you can do, you use the material, you use 3 color coding, and you will be reading whatever is marked in this color last day. So we are helping you to recall. So
we are providing here in one place, everything important in one place.
Yes.
But those who don't have this book, they can follow whatever material.
So keep it in mind. Very important thing here is you should comprehend. So first reading is comprehension. Yes, recitation is recalling. Test is managing exam taking skill. And the last review is recalling again. So we are fostering comprehension. We are fostering recall ability. We are fostering the exam taking skills. So this is how we are working. This is scientifically proved. We are not doing randomly because Hari likes it and Bala likes it. because we are doing according to educational psychology.
We are also, I want everyone to know, we are going in a motto that we have to break the thing that the number of passing students of FMG candidates, I want the curve to rise.
Yes.
That's very important. I want the curve to rise in the scoring. I want the curve to rise in their passing rate. So this will definitely have a huge impact when it comes to their NEET PG preparation. So a lot of FMG students should excel in NEET. For that, they have to excel in FMG. That is exactly my motto. That's exactly what we are following.
I just want to tell 2 points from statistical point of view. Keep it in mind, about 20 active coaching centers are available in India and in the world. For FMG, I'm talking. 20 coaching centers. And more than 80% of FMG aspirants at least join one or the other coaching center for one time minimum. 80%. So 20 active coaching centers, more than 80% of the students join one or the other coaching center at least for one time. Or they at least bought the online platform. Even with all these facilities, the overall passing percentage is less than 25. Why? There's something fundamentally wrong.
Not knowing the secret.
Yes, they don't know how to study. They don't know how to recall. They don't know how to approach the MCQ. Nobody is teaching them. They're giving facts. They're giving study materials. There are classical books for FMGs. I'm not like saying the names or blaming. 70% of FMG aspirants have these classical FMG books. But still pass percentage is not 70, it's 25. Which means students have the material in hand, they don't know how to use it effectively. We give you an added edge where we explain you how to use our material, how to utilize it effectively to pass. I don't want you to pass with 151 marks. I want my students to pass with 200 plus marks. They are scoring. It's not a rocket science. If my students can do, you can do also. He's there to help you. He's an expert.
We are always there to guide everyone. I hope this would definitely bring a massive upscore in FMG students, and definitely a lot of students will pass out with flying colors. This will definitely increase the passing rates.
Sure.
And hopefully in NEET also a lot of FMG students will keep their foot and will shine, will outshine.
We will also discuss about next exam which is going to come. They are going to wipe out FMGE, DMB and NEET exam. They are going to bring a common entrance exam for next. We will discuss about next and the intricacies and secrets of next in another one webinar. There is no time. So 9 days we already completed. Once you are studying, keep it in mind, you should take rest. So after completing this comprehension part or the comprehension session, this is session 1, you are going to take 1 day break. Is it clear? One thing, many questions are arising from students about how to study. Out of that, one primary question I get, sir, should we sleep well or we should sacrifice our sleep during this revision? Guys, you should sleep minimum 7 hours per day.
Never compromise on your sleep. This is very important.
Because how your brain works according to neuroscience, whatever you study will be staying in your brain for long-term memory. This process is called consolidation. So first you study, it will become working memory. It will become short-term memory in your hippocampus. Then according to the projection to your cortex, it will become your permanent memory. And this process in neuroscience is called as consolidation. The consolidation is fostered by sleeping only. You study, if you don't sleep, then you will not remember anything in the exam. So keep it in mind, every day, 7 hours, you should sleep. Eat well, eat balanced meals. Don't eat too much of carbohydrate. Don't take too much of sugar. It should be balanced meal. Yes, sleep well. You should eat well, hydrate well. Try to drink more than 1.5 liters of water. Optimally 2 liters, it will be great because it is important for your brain to work well. Yes, and the last thing, you are going to also work on your mental health and physical health, which means try to go for at least 45-minute jogging per day. These really help. Don't just sit 24 hours and study. The effectiveness of your studying program will depend on your mental health and physical health. So once again, sleep well, eat well, drink water, Go at least for 45 minutes of jogging per day. I'm not asking you to go to gym, yes, per day for 3 hours, but 45 minutes jogging.
Remember the definition of health, it itself is an MCQ. Physical, emotional, and social well-being.
Yes.
Devoid of disease. These three things are very important.
You should be optimally adapting to the environment with optimal functioning of physical, mental, and social.
You should bring out your pressures. That's where the social well-being is also important. So once you study, you have to give, as he said, you have to give importance for your activity also. You have to give importance for your social well-being also. So try to talk with your family members for a while. Do not discuss with other people. Do not discuss with other students and get confused. Never discuss in the last month of examination. I forgot to say, never discuss. That's very, very important. So whatever you read, believe in yourself, believe in your book, and read completely and give yourself space. Right? Give yourself health, good space, and then crack your examination.
Guys, once you take a break, an effective break, I will tell you from educational psychology point of view, if you read some articles about psychology of isolation, once you put someone in isolation, once it is happening right now in lockdown, you get depression. Normally it happens. If you don't see people, if you don't talk to people, I'm not talking about one special group of introverts. Generally, keep it in mind, once you don't see people, once you are not socializing, your emotion will be blurred. You might develop some kind of depression. That's why face-to-face interaction is very important. So if you think about reading and studying for 14 hours in your room, locked up, is going to give you some kind of anxiety. Whenever you take break, don't sit in the same place. Go outside. Go to the road. Walk around your house. Talk to your family people. Face-to-face interaction can decrease your anxiety. This is scientifically proved.
Yeah, so please understand success is important, but life is more important. So you can succeed at any time, but do not do that in damaging your health.
Yes. So health is if your health is not good, your optimal activity will be decreased. Your brain, let's say your body is not good, means brain will not work well. If your brain is not working well, you will not pass the exam. So it's very simple. Yes, brain is a part of your body. Keep your body healthy. If your body is healthy, your brain is healthy. If your brain is healthy, you crack the exam. So make sure you are taking care of your health. Sleep well, eat balanced food, don't take too much of sugar, don't use alcohol, at least in this 1 month. Okay. And next thing, I already told you, drink enough water. 2 liters will be optimal, but it should be more than 1 liter minimum. Go out, walk around, jog. Face-to-face interaction, whenever you are getting a break, just talk to people to decrease anxiety. These are scientifically proved. This is not my phenomenon. This is not my theory. I work with psychology. So I'm telling you whatever I'm practicing. I'm just advising to students. Okay, so next day is like a break. After that, you can go for session 2. So it is very simple. You can understand. We are dividing this session 2 into 6 days session. So what we are going to do over here, same format, whatever I explained you, 3R technique. So first is reading, recitation. Then after that, you can see over here, I want you to do the test as I already told you. Then you are going to do what? You are going to, yes, review. But here I am just giving you test in 2 stages. First, you read and recall or recite. After that, you are going to do, yes, subject-wise past paper test. After that, you are going to, yes, review. Then you can go for the special test what you have over here.
This is what nobody gives actually. A student should be assessed twice. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Yes.
So once we assess you twice, actually you are assessing yourself twice.
Yes.
So you would know the better of you and you would know how to come much better.
So here you can understand one small intricacy. I'm giving you 2 sets of tests. There I gave you only 1 set of tests. That was 3R. In between 1R you have 1 T. Yes. So 2R, TR. It is similar to that. Reading, recitation, test and review. But here it is little different. Reading, recitation and test 1. So you understand whatever mistakes you are making, you are going to replenish all of them in the last hour. After doing this last hour, I am going to give you a second chance to test yourself. This is called module mock. Module mock is given only in DMA app. If you have any other apps to use, module mock, which means this is a special mock with 100 questions from 3 subjects. What are these 3 subjects? Biochemistry, anatomy, and physiology.
Please be honest in these tests because this is for your betterment.
Don't cheat. If you make mistake, it's okay, just for you, but don't cheat here.
Scores does not matter.
Yes.
How much you learn yourself matters a lot.
So the second session is very important for your recalling ability and exam taking skills. You can see I'm giving you 2 times. So you are going to spend time. I'm giving you tentative time management also here. This is a kind of tentative timetable per day. It is not rigid. You can adjust it. If you are really good in anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, probably you don't need 3 hours.
2 hours.
You read in 2 hours. You can use this extra 1 hour here, or if you get extra 1 hour because you are extremely good in anatomy, biochemistry, and physiology, you can go out. Treat yourself. This is very important. This is called, in educational psychology, we call it external reward system. You tell yourself that if I score 90 marks in this module mock, I am going to go to barista and have a great coffee. This is the gift for myself. So once you score 90 plus, you go out. Whatever time extra you are taking over here, or you don't need 3 hours. 1 hour extra you have. You think that, okay, I already scored 90 marks, I deserve a good ice cream from Gelato. Go to Gelato. Reward yourself. Now your brain is training. Okay, if I study more, I get the reward. This is called external motivation. Yes?
It's better you motivate yourself and you treat yourself.
Than others.
Much better than others.
Than others.
And don't compare your scores with others. That's
yes.
not going to help in your examination.
That's true. Yes? Okay, it's similar to that. We are giving other modules. This module is MPP, which means microbiology, pharmacology, and pathology. Similar story what I explained to you. Then after finishing this one, yes, so 11th day and 12th day, and the 13th day you are going to do 1 grand mock test. So this will be exactly like the mock test is going to be exactly like your FMGE, where it should be FMGE simulation. Here, what you are going to practice, you are going to practice how to approach MCQ, how to manage the whole time, how to manage the anxiety. If you don't practice, you will lose in the exam. So we are giving you a proper schedule to practice your exam taking skills to become more fluid. I told you like riding motorbike. In starting, it will be difficult, but after that, it will become fluid. You can listen to music and you can ride motorbike. Same story. In first time, taking this full exam might be difficult for you. And we are giving you 5 exams. We want you to do 5 exams minimum. So one by one, your anxiety will decrease, accuracy will increase. Yes, also time management skills will be improving. So you will improve, yes, along with the whole, yes. So this is very important. You become fluid. You know exactly what to do and when to do it. You exactly know when to mark the difficult question, when to review the difficult question. This is handling your software in FMGE. So you practice everything here. This is very important. Now you can go to 14th day, another one module. This is what we have over here, PRF. So this is what I already told you. We have radiology, we have, yes, FSM, yes, and PSM. This is one module. Related modules you can see over here. Next one is medical revision, which means all medically related subject, which means internal medicine, pediatrics, dermatology, psychiatry, they all will come over here. The next one you can see surgical subject, all surgical, including OBG.
Before that,
yes.
Second grand mock.
So before going to this one, there will be second. So how did we plan over here? You can see 2 days of revision and testing yourself. Third day will be a mock test.
Purely for non-clinical.
Yes. Yeah. So this is mock test. Then again, you are doing 2 days of revision, test yourself, replenish yourself, get ready for what? The next mock test. Now you can see. Yes, second mock test. Yeah. Then after that, you are going to go for what? As I showed you over here, you are going to do surgical. Next day, most important cases and most important point, whatever you already marked, or in QRS, it is nuggets. 2 days you complete. After that, you are going for the third grand mock test. Already you completed 3 grand mock tests, which means you get the confidence in you. You decrease the anxiety, you increase the confidence. After completing this, you can see you are going to take a full day break. Again, I am going to give you 3 days session. This is intensive revision. What is this intensive revision? You can see I already showed you 5 modules. Yes, BAP is module 1, MPP is module 2. Yes, PRF is module 3, medical is module 4, and yes, surgical is module 5. So what I am asking you to do is module 1, 2, 3 you will cover in one day. This is called rapid or intensive revision. Now you can see over here. What I'm changing over here, first you read, you recall, which means 2 hours. But here you're not going to do the individual subject-wise test. You will do a mock test now. So you are already at this level. You like, how you are doing PG. In first year, you are like an MBBS student. Once you are going to second year, you are half PG. Once you go to third year, you are full PG. You are proficient enough to conduct the surgeries after you get the degree in surgery. It takes repetition and time. The same story you can see over here. Strategically, I am giving you first mini test, then subject-wise big test, then module test. Now I gave you already grand mock test. You already covered 3 grand mock. Now you are going for the 4th grand mock. So you study for one day, you do 1 mock test also. So technically you can see I'm giving the time distribution. Next day, you take a break. Why? You are studying hard. When you are studying hard, you should take also rest. So next day, 22nd day, I'm giving you a break. Same story, 23rd day, I'm telling you what modules to cover. So you're going to cover 4th module and 5th module. 2-hour test is going to be 5th grand mock. Yes, and after that, you are going to review this. Next day, take rest, do exercise, eat well, watch movie, whatever you want to do. Give yourself reward. Because you studied and you scored well, you're working hard, which means there should be a time for yourself. You tell that if I score 200 mark in this 5th grand mock, I will treat myself with dum biryani, Hyderabadi biryani. When you will treat yourself on this day, 24th day. Then 25th day, same story, nuggets, cases, and the last grand mock I'm giving here. And you also again think that if I score 200 plus, I'm going to go to the biggest ice cream parlor. Okay, go next day. So you need optimal physical and mental health. If you are completely pressed up, you will get anxiety. If you have anxiety, brain doesn't work. So we are giving properly time for...
It tricks like working in anxiety, but actually it doesn't.
It tricks you. Little bit anxiety is good. This is called performance anxiety. Once it is above the limit, your brain shuts down. Is it clear? Okay. So the last part, now you can see, you completed everything up to 26 days. Yes. So you are starting this course, let's say on 1st of August. So 26th of August, you are having a break. And 27, 28, 29, you might be moving to other cities to go to your centers. Yes. So you won't be able to study in these 3 days, most probably. If you have QRS book, once you are traveling, you read. If you have QRS app, you can watch the fire rate videos. But the last day we are giving, this is the 30th of August. 31st is exam. What you do, this is called pre-exam cramming session. You already studied 3 times. You already revised more than 3 times. What I want you to do, minimum, you are going to read 10 subjects. If it is possible for you to read all 19, read it. It's up to you. Capacity for each student is different. But minimum 10 high-yield subjects. What are these high-yield subjects? Biochemistry, microbiology, pathology, pharmacology. PSM, internal medicine, surgery, OBG, ophthalmology, and minimum 10 subjects. Read from the material you marked. It can be QRS, it can be your material.
In your way.
In your way. It's very important. Customize it for yourself. You can study for probably, 8 hours. But very important thing, don't miss the night sleep before exam.
And second important, don't take your book for your exam.
Don't take it there.
Here is where the previous day of the exam, here is where you're closing the book.
Finished. That's it.
Finished. That's it. Yeah.
Don't get confused. Don't get more anxiety that I didn't study this chapter and that chapter. This will come on the exam day. To prevent all these things, don't talk to naysayers. There will be a group of people who will be telling, we didn't study that, we didn't study that, we will flunk. Don't talk to people. You cannot manage to give the last minute for these people. You cannot waste your energy to cope up with such kind of anxiety.
You have taken breaks enough. Now it's time for yourself during the exam hall to remain silent, to give a break to your ears, especially in between breaks of the exam.
Don't discuss.
Don't discuss, really or don't let anyone comes and discuss or ask questions from you. If someone asks you some question, I said the visual memory will open and your mind will get diverted in that question, and for the next session you will not have that energy. So my advice is, when they get a break in between exam, it's better to have good food, and rest for
Drink some
20 minutes.
Rest if possible. Don't talk to guys.
Really. Afternoon nap, for example, for even 20 minutes, will increase your brain's capacity by 20%. That's very essential. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the last part. So I'm just hopping into something else right now. So whatever plan I gave you, you can implement this plan for the last minute revision for yourselves without the help of DMA. It's possible. You don't need to buy QRS book. You don't need to buy the app. You don't need to join the classes. But those who are unable to cope up, because you know that about 40-45% of the students, they cannot study and do tests by themselves. They need someone to push. If you think you are in this category, you can join this class. This class is called QRS Supervision class, which means whatever plan I set to you, you won't read the book, but we are going to take the live classes online. It will be online classes. So whatever plan I gave you, there will be online classes. And we will tell you what test to do and when to do, and we will give you personal guiding and counseling. If you want, you can join. So if you think that you don't have material, you can buy the book. You don't have app, you can buy the app. But if you think you are falling into the category of people, those 45% of people who need really a push from someone, if they don't push, they don't study. You know, many people are lazy. It's not bad. We are there to help you. For you exclusively, we designed a course called QRS Supervision. So whatever I explained you previously, we will do video revision, online classes. We will be giving you tests. We are going to supervise you. We are going to check the process. We are going to check your progress. And we are going to counsel you 24/7 to improve and correct this exam. In this course, we are giving this QRS book free of cost. App will be free of cost. If you join the course, we will be giving these two. Third edition, not the old one. Third edition QRS free of cost, and the app will be free of cost. If you know about QRS, it's okay. If you don't know about QRS, I told you, this is a very high-yield, carefully carved material. Very finest material for last minute revision. Last time, I am not lying, there were more than 160 MCQs from December FMGE 2019.
Which is collected from the students on the same day of examination.
On the same day we collected the question, we found the answers with the pages, screenshot. I'm already sharing this question and answers in social media. You can find this in our website.
You can find with the students who have appeared in the previous examination. You can verify those questions.
Yes. What are the salient features? As I already told you, all 19 subjects are covered systematically. And what is necessary for NB exam we are giving. We are not giving haphazardly what is coming in USMLE and PLAB. This is especially for NB
this
exam.
This book is focused for FMGE. This book will be focusing on FMGE. Yes. A bit of needs patterns will also
be there. You can say, because you know
so that if the pattern exam changes, repetitions, or if the standard gets high, you should not be surprised during the examination. That's very essential.
As we already said, 10 or maximum 20% of repeated questions from NEET and DMB. So we are giving those necessary material. All are arranged in one line and in latest pattern. So these are one-liners. These are not bulky things. It's easy to understand, easy language, easy presentation, tabular presentation. You read very easy and simple language, and we are providing everything in the latest pattern. Whatever is the old one, all drug of choice, all diagnosis of choice, all removed from here. So now you can see over here, we enhanced and updated our image bank. Nuggets are segregated with new high yield points, anticipated new cases and related topics. All the drug of choice, differential diagnosis of choice, treatment of choice, everything is from latest CMDT 2020. Completely updated. No excuse.
Yeah. And one more thing, the image bank is very important. Just seeing the image is not essential. We can say like along with the image,
You should know
you should know the concept. So below those images, we have provided some
captions.
Captions.
They are
That's
very
essential. So those captions itself will serve as MCQ points. But still, I would like to discuss more on image bank when we are discussing this QRS supervision. Yeah.
Okay. So this is about the class, and this is about the course which I explained you, 30 days course. Whatever plan I explained, this will be converted into a video interactive session over here. So the classes will be online, yes, and you will be getting the recorded sessions too. You will be getting free QRS book. You will be getting the app, 24/7 academic support and counseling. We make sure you crack this exam for 100%. This is the most important thing. If you have any questions about the fees, now you can see, you can visit our website. I'm going to post the link over there. So the fees is 14,000 and you can grab your discount. There are various discounts. I'm not going to discuss each and every discount here. You can really get discount and you can get this course for 10,000. So you just go visit my website. If you really don't want to follow my course, no problem. You want to buy the app, you want to buy the book, it's up to you. But if you think you want to join the class, we are there for you to help. But if you think that I already studied, I have all the study material, I just don't want to join the class and pay money, I want to follow on your study plan, please be free. Visit our website, go follow our plan. It's for everyone. We are not segregating, we are not shutting it down. And thank you for joining. If you have any questions, you can write to us. We are happy to reply. Thanks. And if you have any queries, yes, you can take a screenshot. You can contact this number. Yes, the first number, the phone number is the hotline number. You can contact us.
I hope this discussion will be very helpful for everyone.
Yeah, guys, I just want to remind you, probably by next week, we are going to also organize one more webinar where we will be discussing about high yield topics in FMGE August 2020. Dr. Bala, Dr. Saktivel, and also one of the toppers in 2019 June, my student, best student, Arden, who scored 237. That was the second highest in all India. He might be joining too. But most probably it will be Dr. Bala and Dr. Saktivel, and if possible, it will be me. And next week, we are going to put a very important seminar on next exam. What will be the trend changing, how to cope up with this coming exam, how to change the mode of studying in this coming years for you. But this is not important for already the FMG aspirants. This will be important for undergraduate students who are studying abroad. So in future, you should face next. So we'll be helping you to modify your study plans, your study mode. The effectiveness can increase according to the plan what we are providing. Then it will be helping you to crack the next exam in future. So thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Yes, if you have any questions, please write me in the YouTube. Thank you.